There is a popular saying in leadership that if you think you're leading and there's nobody following you, you are only going on a walk. On this platform, you are going to learn principles of leadership. You are going to encounter different leaders. You are going to learn about how you can grow as a leader, how you can make an impact. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm the host for the leadership platform. I am a leadership coach, a lawyer by profession, a John C. Maxwell certified coach. I have been in corporate life in senior positions for several years, and now I run the Center for Transformational Leadership, where we train and coach leaders to become better leaders. And I invite you to go on a journey with us as we discuss the subject of leadership in the coming weeks.
This and every Saturday, you have opportunity to ask questions, share your views on important leadership matters.
Hello everyone, my name is Elsie and I'm excited that I just completed a 15-week journey with the CTL Africa team on the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John C. Maxwell.
From the law of pain, I also learned that every problem introduces a person to himself. Honestly, till you face a problem, you wouldn't know the things that you actually have within you.
The journey for me personally was a wake-up call. Before I joined this journey, I wasn't actually learning at all. I wasn't adding any logic to what I knew.
So the law of trade-off is saying that you have to give up to grow up. So things that I think are not going to have maximum impact on my life, I have to trade them off.
I want to grow. I am not stopping now. I am continuing. And as far as I'm concerned, like it says, you cannot give what you don't have. I definitely will have to give what I have learned off to others and then get more so that I can continue giving. I am not going to be a reservoir. I am going to be a river, and therefore I'm going to continue learning to be able to give of my best.
Ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results on a consistent basis if they have a system, if they have a plan.
Hello and good evening, everybody. You are welcome to the Leadership Platform. It's another lovely Saturday evening, and we are very grateful to have you on here to listen to us speak today. My name is Abigail Owusu-Buafo, and today I'll be co-hosting with Mr. Samuel Eyim. Today we have a lovely person who is going to talk more about leadership. And as always, we encourage everyone who has joined us on Facebook, YouTube, please introduce yourself. We always love to hear from you. We want to know that you are with us, and we appreciate every one of you who uses your time and your data, your energy to join us every Saturday evening on the leadership platform. So we have Emmanuel Woolendall, who is watching us from WA. Thank you very much, Emmanuel, for joining us this evening. And please, anyone else who has joined us on any of our platforms, please introduce yourself. We love to hear from you. So today, we also have Shadrach, Nana, or Poku Owusu joining us this evening. So continue to introduce yourself. would like to share with the rest of the world who is joining us on the leadership platform. So I would like to bring Mr. Ayim on now to tell us more about.
Hello, good evening, everyone. And thank you, Abigail, for introducing the show this evening. We are grateful that we have a great speaker this evening going to speak to us about an important subject, which is the subject of performance culture and the role of the leader. You know, as we communicated to you, habits are so important to our everyday results. And habits and our behaviors come from our thoughts. Our mind is so powerful, and our thoughts generate feelings within us, which then create our actions. And from our actions, we get the results. And so those actions repeated become your habit and therefore form your character. Now, if that is multiplied within a group, that becomes your culture. And so the same results that the individual is getting is going to be replicated across the whole group. And that is the power of culture. This evening, we're going to look at how culture can enhance performance, how culture can also inhibit performance, how to create a culture that is reinforcing, a culture or habit that would bring maximum results. The question is, why is one organization so performance oriented and another is not? Where does the leader come in the creation, the generation, the modification, the transformation of the culture of the organization? Now, as we're thinking about this topic, we know that there is only one person that we can think about, who is Maame Ekua Gaisey, to talk to us about culture, because she's very deep in culture of organizations. Maame Ekua is a business consultant. She's a speaker and a growth coach. She's the managing partner of 565, and she will tell us about what 565 is. I don't know what it is, Maame, you will tell us. But Maame is passionate about enabling people to thrive. She loves the energy that positive mindfulness brings. So she's focused on how our minds give us results. She has delivered this passion through her decade-plus experience of supporting businesses through human capital management. Her experience spans across various industries and countries. She's an international woman. Although Maame is global and big picture in nature, Maame understands the context of environment and brings this to bear in her delivery. The context, your culture, this is what Maame deals with. She's a certified cultural transformation tools consultant. So you can now understand why she's the best person. She's certified to apply cultural transformation tools to organizations. She's also a John C. Maxwell certified coach. She's also a certified personal development coach and facilitator, serving as the first female regional director of the International Association of Facilitators Africa. Coming from a mass communication and research background, Maame served in corporate affairs function, bringing to the business innovative communication strategy. Maame also has experience in project and change management, supporting clients in their transformation journey. She believes in effective communication to different stakeholders. Now, if I want to go on with what Maame has done and all the clients he has helped, I think we will not finish. But you can see from this short introduction why Maame is the right person to talk to us about this all important subject of creating a performance culture. Ours is not seen to be a performance culture in Africa, in Ghana. We have serious issues with performance. And it comes to our work ethics, our work attitudes, and work practices. This sum is what the culture is about. How do we transform this? And Maame Ekua Gaisey is here with us. We appreciate her, we love her, and we welcome her to the leadership platform. I think for the second time, because the first time she came, people loved her and they said, oh, we need more of this, we need more of this. So, Maame, you are very welcome to the leadership platform. We appreciate you. Take us away. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Sam. And good evening to the team at CTL Africa. I am so amazed at how the team is able to week on, week out, bring to all the viewers and followers and partners conversations around leadership. Because really, from where we sit, this is what we need. The conversation must go on. We must be able to learn from each other. We must be able to learn from the things that are not working and figure out what works better for all of us. So good evening to everybody, be it on Facebook or YouTube. It's still great that we can see you eager to learn, and we're all here to learn together. So Sam has said a lot about me. We are going to go straight into our learning evening so that we can have enough time to ask questions and share thoughts and ideas and debate some of the thoughts that we'll share here as well. I love that. So let's go.
Yes, we can see your slide, Maame, but we can't hear you. I don't know if you're talking yet.
No.
All right, so we can see your slides.
Okay, because I'm unable to move them down.
Okay. All right, let me see. I've moved it up for you. Okay, now it's working.
Okay.
Yes, now you can move them.
I'm
Right.
still unable to.
Are you? Okay.
No.
But it's moving. Is it me? Moving it. Try again and let's see.
Okay, I'm gonna try again. Let's do this. Nice. Nope.
Okay. I think if you okay. I think I'm moving it now. Okay, try again and let's see. Go up. It's not
Okay.
moving.
No, going up, not moving.
Okay. If you put the cursor on the presentation, there'll be some arrows, 2 arrows forward, backwards. Do you see that?
Not
No,
yet, Sam.
not yet. All right. But for now, we can see your second screen. Do you see the presentation move from your end when I move?
Yeah. When you move it, I definitely do.
Okay.
I do.
All right. So let's see how it does. Maybe.
Yes. So Sam, just
from...
take us away. Do the controlling, and we will be fine.
All right. So
yes.
If you order me, I'll move.
When I prompt you more like that. Please, let's go to the next one. Right. So this evening, we're going to have a conversation about creating a high performance culture. And my favorite conversation always has to have the word culture and values. So when I was given the opportunity to talk about performance and culture, I thought these two are almost like twins that are in bed with me. So I was very excited. Now, for this evening, I'm going to hone us in and create a base on which we are going to have this conversation. Whenever you hear these, especially leadership concepts and words, they will mean a million things to 1,000 people. For the purposes of our conversation this evening, I want us to be based on the definitions I'm going to provide so that we are quite controlled in a very positive way in the thought. But definitely people have different views about these definitions, and I'm going to just ask you or invite you to bear with us that this evening, when we talk about a performance culture, we're looking at a team that is very dedicated and determined to work together to get results. A team or a group of people that are working together with determination and dedication to get results. An organizational culture also talks about, a performance culture also looks at an organizational culture that is built on some ethics. So we are talking about behaviors, we are talking about the way they do things. And these are encouraged by leaders. The words in bold and the words underlined are very deliberate. So they are accepted behaviors. So behaviors are very important in our settings, whether at work, in an unprofessional setup, or in a social makeup. Whenever a group of people meet, the kind of behaviors that are defined as acceptable, it could be a school, it could be a social club, it could be a professional association. Those behaviors and the norms that we form around those behaviors must be encouraged by the leaders. And these leaders will then set in motion some optimal tools and processes. So with the word optimal, what I'm trying to say this evening is that some tools and processes are actually regressive. But if we are looking to build a culture that is performance based, then we must remember that the tools and processes that as leaders will put in place for these teams must optimize the behaviors that we seek to encourage. Right. And I know this is CTL platform. Okay, this is the leadership platform. You must have heard 1,000 different definitions for leaders, who a leader is, what a leader does, what a leader doesn't do, what makes a great leader, what makes not so great a leader. For this conversation again, I'm going to say that I'm looking at a leader that is inspiring passion and motivation in his or her followers. And this leader I'm talking about that is able to build a high performance culture must clearly define a vision and the path that we will travel to realize that vision. This leader must also ensure that team members have the support and the wherewithal to achieve the goals that we set. So if a leader has a vision, but is unable to define the how we are getting there, or is unable to support with the tools and the how, then that leader can lead to a certain extent. But we are definitely not going to build or grow a high performance culture. So for this evening and this conversation, I'm saying that the leader has to inspire passion, has to motivate the followers, has to have a clear vision, must define a clear path, must ensure that the team has the tools that are required to achieve the goals. So you don't only set the goals and leave the team. You must set the goals and provide the tools that we can use to realize these goals. Yes, sir. So now, for us to be able to build a high performance culture, I want us to go on a journey. So one may wonder, okay, I'm a leader or I'm an aspiring leader. I definitely want to build a high performance culture. I definitely want my team to be optimized. Where do I start from? Let's embark on this journey. We'll start off with how we set these optimal things. First of all, I'd like you to begin to think about why the organization exists. So start off from the mission. Your mission must clearly define why we are here. We are here to provide 1,000 loaves of bread every day for vendors to put in their shops and realize a certain level of profit. That's the mission. So your mission is to feed people with bread. What is the mission that your organization, your team, your professional association has as a leader? If you're running a group of people or a team and you do not know why you exist, that's a problem. Your business must have a mission. You are here for a reason, and that reason is where we are starting from. Then you move to the vision. For every organization, you exist for something, but there's also this almost a utopian destination that you want to get to. So your vision, and every day I run sessions for management and leadership, I get asked, Maame, what's the difference between mission and vision? I said, just take it as though you were on a trip. Where you eventually want to land is your vision. This is the high-end thing you're looking for. But why are you here? Why must we listen to you? Why do we get on CTL every weekend? Why must we come here? Because CTL exists to provide leadership tools, conversations, and training programs, as well as consultancy for anybody that is seeking to optimize their leadership skills. If you're a new leader or yet to be a leader, or leading yourself, leading a group of people, you come here every weekend to listen to some nuggets, listen to best practices on how to lead. So for every organization, there's a reason you exist. Even for you as an individual, it would be great if you sat down and wondered, why am I here? Why did God put me here? Where I am? In which part of the country are you? Why do you think you are there at this time? In which part of the world are you? Why were you put there at this time? You must understand why you are here and where you are headed to. Then you move to some strategic objectives. So for me, we are going to look at this from a very business-oriented perspective or organizational perspective. Then we'll throw in what you do as an individual, very, very practical, applicable things that we can do to be able to see that we are able to raise and grow high-performance cultures wherever we are. Now, once you've defined your mission and your vision, you then get into your strategic objectives. And this then you get into, how do I want to break it down? Do you want it to be a 2-yearly? Do you want it to be annually? Are you better because of the pace of your industry or the way your team works that it is most appropriate to have a quarterly strategic objective? That is fine. Whatever suits your team, whatever suits your industry, whatever is great for your organization to thrive, definitely do not feel restricted to do it. Anything that others are doing. Just set your strategic objectives. Make sure that they are periodic and they are very well defined. What we do not want is when you set your strategic objectives and they are very loose and in the air. Nobody knows when, nobody knows where, nobody knows how. Set the strategic objectives and define exactly the period they are covering. Now, when you are done as a leader, we want you to now get into the granular level. What this means is that you're going to define exactly what it is that you're going to do and how the team pitches in. Because like Sam said in the intro video, if you are leading a group of people, then there surely must be a following. So if there's no one following you and you're calling yourself a leader, you must be taking a walk, maybe for health reasons or for leisure purposes. But we're looking at a leader in this context that has a team, that is able to look into the team and say, this is where we are going. This is why we exist. These are the strategic objectives that we have for this year, and break it down into the quarter. Now, once you're done, you come into looking at, how does the team pitch in? Because if you're not able to define your own role on the strategic objective sheet and define how the team pitches in and let them pitch in physically, like really pitch in to do their bit, you would realize that as a leader, you'll be going around in circles trying to do everything all by yourself. Then you are not leading. You are an individual contributor. But we are looking for people that are willing to lead, and they are willing to say, this is my defined role on this journey. This is where I need the support from my team of followers, and everybody pitches in. Now, this is a model I've created for all of us to have a pictorial view of the conversation. So if you don't take anything at all away this evening, just have this picture in your mind's eye. So my big deal, we talk about high performance culture, and everybody is looking at people that are turning around high productivity, efficiency, high income levels. We are looking for people that have all the income levels that are rigged in month on month. Our profit margins are growing. That's amazing. But a high performance culture goes beyond that. We are looking at sustainability. So if you're able to rake in a high margin for a year or two, and in year 3 you're struggling, then I'll go back to this model and ask you, what kind of leadership are you providing for your organization or team? What is the culture that you have set in place to be able to run the organization? What level of execution or kind of execution are you looking at? And as you are going on this journey, there will be tools that are guiding. We have the OKRs, we have the regular performance management systems, and there must be constant and continuous monitoring of these. Now, let me come down. When you look at this triangle, we have the triad being execution at the top, because at the bottom of this is execution. You can have all the beautiful mission, vision, values. You can have the best strategic objectives. If you do not act on them, they are pieces of papers. They become beautiful write-ups. They don't deliver anything to anybody, including yourself and the business or the organization you're leading. So we are looking to execute, and that's why we're looking to put in place all these measures. Now, as a leader, if you don't define your leadership style, which I'm not going to get into, because on the CTL leadership platform, this is the regular conversation. So by now, you should know that you must define your leadership style. Now, culture is a conversation we had the first time I was here. And we talked about how to build a culture that is values-based, and we'll get into that. But how are you defining the culture? And don't think too big about culture. Don't let it look like a big elephant in your room. Culture is basically how we do things around here. So as a leader, how have you defined how things are done around here? When I say around here, in your organization, and if you're leading a family, in your family, how do we do things around here? Now, the OKRs, your objectives and key results, you're going to set them to provide an ongoing monitoring of the results that you are looking to achieve. And in a lot of instances, people confuse the OKRs with the regular performance management systems. But the performance management system types we have differ. So for instance, an organization could be using a business scorecard. An organization could be using a straight cut objectives with goals. An organization could be using the 4D objectives or performance management model. A lot of models exist. If you typed in performance management models on your internet browser now, you're going to be fed with thousands of models. Wherever you are as an organization or a business, you should be able to define how you are going to run your team and its performance based on that the performance management system you adopt. Now, the key here is we do not get fixated about the system in itself, but the how we are doing it. And that's why culture is at the base. So if we have set in a great organizational culture, we're going to say that, yes, here we are looking for results. We are looking to deliver amazing profit, but we are also very ethical. So if you're a salesperson and you go into an organization to sell, and you go and tell lies about the products or services that we deliver, that is not the kind of culture we want to build. And if you're a leader looking to build a high performance culture that is very sustainable and can transcend your own leadership time, then I will entreat you to set a culture that is very sustainable, and that is one that is highly ethical and that can transcend your own time. So have this picture. The big deal really is execution, and that execution doesn't come well if you don't have a good base of a good leadership style and a great, thriving, and supportive culture to go with that. Now, what are some of the behaviors that we're looking for to be able to say that we are building and growing a high performance culture? First and foremost, you cannot have what you can't see in your mind's eye. So for you to be able to envision or get to where you're going, which is what your vision is defining, you need to change what you're doing now. You need to already imagine that you are a 10x organization, that you are a high performance culture, that your business is profitable. You cannot keep thinking about how loss making you are now and expect to be high profitable. It does not work. You need to already imagine the level of performance that you're looking to have in the future by changing what you're doing today. Then you take consistent actions. The word here is consistent. You don't do today and go to sleep tomorrow. It does not work. We need to be able to create a level of consistency that everybody can look at and say, whoa. So every week, rain or shine, good internet, bad internet, whether Sam is in Ghana or not, whether he's in a village or not, whether Abigail is on or not, this platform brings us leadership sessions every weekend. And that consistency is what we are looking for. If you're not consistent with your actions, forget it. You cannot even begin to dream of, let alone have a high performance culture. So you need your own consistency as a leader and that of your organization. Because if you don't create that consistency, you're going to get into a pace of go, stop, go, halt, go, break. And that in every system. Look at your car. If your car were on the motorway and it was just jerking like that, imagine what that could mean. It could mean an accident. It could mean a lot of loss or destruction for your engine. It could be a lot of things. So we want the consistency because even if they are piecemeals, they are definitely going to move us ahead. So the word here is consistency. Consistent action is what we are looking for. Change the narrative by being consistent in your actions and recognize what you intend to achieve. What exactly do you want? Do you want a highly engaged team? Do you want a team that is high-paced? Do you want to create a culture that is accommodating? Do you want to create a culture that looks into the future? Are you looking to build a sustainable organization? What do you really want to achieve? And whatever it is that you're intending to achieve, remember, you need to first see it, create a consistent action towards it, and recognize that this is where I want. And for this evening, our intention is to achieve high performance organizations. Now, I need you to think about time management a bit differently from what we usually think about. So you can wake up or set off your month or week or day with a long list of to-do lists and go through the period of canceling them out. Now, if you are working in an organization where people can just walk in, then you're thrown off. And depending on your own temperament, maybe it takes you forever to come back to what you're doing when you are disrupted. So I want to look at how do you manage your time as a leader or as a team member looking to lead by prioritizing your deliverables. So you set yourself up and say that I'm looking to grow maybe my followership on social media to this. I'll set it up as a project. And as we all know, projects have beginning and end, and you need to support it with some resources. So you can do your time management based on projects, where you projectize the things that you want to do. So as an organization, you want to achieve $100,000 profitability in the next 2 years. So you set that as a project. You couch your own strategic goals around it. You go through the motion of determining your role as a leader, how the team pitches in, set yourself up by envisaging how the organization will look if we were making $100,000 and put in all the consistency that you need to achieve that. Okay. You could also then do time blocking. How is time blocking done? Very simply, we are setting our day. And because we are not linear beings as human beings, where we just can get onto one thing and do it throughout, you have, say, 5 things that you need to deliver this week. You set up your calendar such that at every point in time, you are defining and dedicating portions of your day or your week or your month to specific things that you want to do. So please, if you're looking to run a high performance culture or organization, remember that time management is key. Now, I want to also look at the quality of your outputs. So we are not just here, if you're looking for a sustainably high performance organization, we are not just looking at the number of things we did. Oh, we're able to sell maybe 100 pieces of the wares that we produced. Question is, how well were you able to get your customers to understand your organization so they can come back? How well were you able to embed the word of mouth act in your customers so they can go out there and be your brand ambassadors? So it's about the quality of the sale. It's about the quality of the production. Because if you were baking bread, I want to go back to that because it's a very simple act that we can all imagine. Whether you eat bread or not, you see bread every day. If we're baking 1,000 loaves of bread every week and they come out, they're either too sugary, they are too salty, they are flatter than they should be, or they are too loafy, nobody's going to buy, but you would have produced them. So the quality, or even if some people bought it, you won't get the level of return business that you were looking to have. So the quality of your outputs is as great a consideration as the quantity. Then we get into my favorite. Check the culture that you are having in your organization. I need you to check the culture because, as we saw in the model of performance management that I showed you, you want to be able to set the right frame and the right foundation for your organization to thrive. Because you can have a very good year. I mean, and there are times in our teams that we're like, oh gosh, we got a good run this year. And the next year comes and we're trying. You see that we will struggle to do what we did last year. And then in the second year, we are barely surfacing because we are up here with things that we can't imagine. And if you want to test any organization, just throw in some hard times. COVID has come. COVID came, some organizations were very quick and they nimbly really just navigated the times, set in place their business continuity methods, whatever it is, be them small. And some people just got lost completely. And that, for me, is the test of sustainability of whatever you've been doing. And that is the test of the kind of culture you set yourself. Whether you are running an entrepreneurship, a big corporate team, or you're running an offline team, what you set off as a working culture for your organization will determine how sustainable your performance is. And if you're looking for high performance that is consistent, then we need to check the kind of organization and culture that we are setting for our organization. And Peter Drucker says that culture eats strategy for breakfast. Is whenever people hear this, they think that, oh, okay, then I'll go build a great culture and forget about everything else. It does not work like that. What Peter was trying to say is that if you have the best strategy and you do not have a supportive or sustaining culture, your strategy can go through hell. and literally that. So it does not say, and this is not a saying that says, don't focus on strategy. I don't know any organization that can grow or survive, especially in the times that we're in, where the changes are happening on a second basis. If you don't have a good strategy, you're simply not going to survive. So this is just saying that if your how we do things around here, which is the culture, is very sloppy, does not encourage high performance, then you can have the best strategy, but you aren't going to go far. So how do we look at this? Next. We are going to do this on the back of a values-based culture, because I'll tell you what, the nerve of your organization's transformation from a mediocre performance or an ordinary performance to a high performance is in the kind of culture that you're building and the level of the sustainability of that culture that you're leaving for your organization. Now, for every leader, we always think about high performance and our people come to mind. If you think high performance, you can think if you're a very automated organization, you are looking at machines. But even these machines are managed by people. The people set them up, the people might maintain them. So if you're looking for a high performance organization, after all said and done, if you do not think about the people that are going to deliver it, if you do not think about how you are developing the people and setting in motion a growth mindset for them to be able to deliver that strategy, whatever it is, know that you won't go far. So on this, we are saying that definitely focus on radically building a learning and a growth organization, because you can build a great culture. That's great. You can have a great strategy. That's great. But if you're not developing your people to be able to bring these two together, your vision will be just a couple of words. Your mission will be a couple of words. And your values definitely will be in vain, because you don't have the people base and you're not growing a learning organization that will be able to withstand time. And I want us to focus on this. Look, people leave. I've always debated the blankets. Yes, in some instances it's true that people leave organizations not because of the business or the company, but because of their bosses. It's not always so. Sometimes you can have a great boss, but you've got to leave because the organization is not growing you. You might have an organization that is not really developing you for your next challenge. And you might leave because maybe your manager is the one you're expecting to do that. But it's not always easy for every leader to have that autonomy and the wherewithal to do that. So for me, I want us to think about this in a broad organizational purview and say, if we have this organization that is not constantly and consciously developing people, then the people will think because they are not growing, they are going to leave. And if we have a certain level of turnover, know that your performance as an organization is going to come into disrepute. The other thing that I am looking at for organizations is if we build an organizational culture that supports the people's development and we weave it into the everyday life. So it is not this framed set of mission, vision. You enter the reception and it's beautifully framed. We have the vision, we have mission. People have been doing different things about it. They're putting them on the walls. They are writing it on stickers. They are on screensavers. We can do a lot of different things. But if we do not have regular check-in that is imbibing these things, remember that you are going to have just a beautiful set of organizational values, mission, and vision without the going concern. And you see, for every organization, when you take away the capital, which is probably for you, your equipment, or for some people, it is actually cash. If you don't have the right set of people, you are going to struggle. And we cannot talk about a high performance organization without people, because they are going to deliver the results that we are looking for. So one of the things that I am very particular about when it comes to leaders is how you are setting these conversations. And we're going to do that in the next slide. How we are going to set ourselves up to be able to weave these into our everyday life. Now, when you help employees grow, they become engaged. And an engaged organization, next, an engaged organization actually looks for a leader that is doing what they are saying and demanding. So for you as a leader, you can't come in and say, okay, so I am Maame Gaisey. I am your boss. I do, shoddy work, but I'm asking you to do perfect work. I write, I don't mind the details, but now I'm asking you to do that. Can you imagine working for somebody like that? You'd wonder, but why does this person do this and ask me to do that? And we make these demands of our leaders. When they say the economy is tough, tighten your belt, and we don't see that, we worry. If a parent is unable to pay fees but is living lavishly on things, we are wondering. So for every leader, for you to have an engagement with the everyday values of your organizations, we are looking at what you're doing, matching it to what you're saying, and what you're asking of your followers or your team. So for me, as a leader, decide to lead, not just from the front, not because you have a title, not because you are called the CEO, not because you are the managing director, not because you have a founder or it's not about that. But understanding that our everyday actions and words are what our people are going to look at. And sometimes we are so particular about what others do without watching what we do as leaders. But guess what? The science, the psychology, the sociology is telling us that people don't always do what we say. They do what they see us do. And we see that with children. We see that with our teens. And don't be fixated on the systems that you are setting in motion. Because if you are so over-focused on just the systems, you're going to be just going through the period of, okay, it's January. Every leader or employee, can you go into the HRIS or take your sheet or go into the Excel and set your goals? Everybody does that. Then we pack them away. Once we pack them away, we know that we don't have to think about it until it's June. June is coming, June is coming. Everybody goes around looking, where's my drawer? Where's my folder? How do I defend that I've done well? Then we set up meetings and people go in, they argue, they do things, they converse about it. And then we say, no, you didn't perform. Yes, I did perform. Why are you saying that? But in March, I couldn't get the right sales because the vehicle was breaking down very often. And they are just draining for you as a leader and for every team member. These can be very draining. What we are looking to build, if you're looking for a high performance culture organization, is a team that is getting regular check-ins. And that's what the OKRs in that model I showed you does. So you set in motion, and it could be very simple. It doesn't have to be a 30-minute session. No. We are checking in every day, agreeing that on a weekly basis, we are looking at our key results and asking, where are we? What do we need to do differently to be able to achieve it? And that can take 10 minutes maximum. Even in a team of 5, we should be able to do that. If we build ourselves up right for that, and we set our meetings not being a conversation platform, but going in and very minded about productivity, we go in 10 minutes, we check in. Now imagine Organization A, we have teams that are checking in on what they are supposed to do every week. Literally, they are looking at the things they're doing. The economy is changing. We said we're going to do this on our margins, but guess what? We are putting so much in our fuel. So now our margins are getting eroded. We get in and decide, do we do a price change or do we increase our volume so that our outcome increases? These conversations then become the basis on which we are even changing our operational models. And you don't wait until June. People, this is 2022. Nothing waits for 6 months to change. Change is happening whilst you are actually putting in place your strategy. Before your strategy is finalized, there is change. So you're going to be minded by how often you're checking in and how well you're doing that to inform the changes you're going to make to your objectives or your strategy. Otherwise, sorry, you get to the bus stop or the train station when the bus has already left. And as a business, you will be left in the dark and you would wonder what happened because show is over by the time you and your team get there. So we are looking at embedding some values that are so performance oriented that in our everyday work life, we're just looking in to see what do we need to do? What do we need to change? Who do we have to talk to? How do we even change our organization setup to be able to meet the demands of the the market? So all these conversations are ongoing, and people, mid-year, end-year appraisals that are shut off until that time is gone. It does not have any place in any business that seeks to thrive. So if you're running a team, yes, you can have the objective set for 6 monthly or 1 yearly thing. But if you keep quiet about these conversations, you don't have any team check-ins, you don't have your teams talking about how they want to amend their organizational goals and objectives, then you are in for a lot of trouble, because by the time you are ready to review, there will be a long list of excuses why those objectives were not met. So to engage, we need to remember that this is an ongoing process. Now let's take a 360 view. Performance does not exist in isolation. It can't. When you're looking at your performance management system, you're looking at full buckets of different things. And I'm not going to go into details, but you want to look at your talent management. Your talent management is just your people. What kind of people do you want in your organization? How are you bringing them in? When they come in, how do you onboard them? What is the regular channel of journey? How do you engage them? How do you even have conversations about exits? How are their careers discussed? How are their incomes and conversations about what you do and what you get discussed? How are you rewarding good performance? And there are so many teams that are being drained because people feel that those who do not deserve to be promoted are getting promoted. So we need to be mindful that we are promoting the right people on our teams if we want to build high-performing cultures and organization, and make the changes if need be. And the changes could be moving people upwards and downwards, moving people laterally, changing functions, have conversations about people's careers. If people feel that they want to change what they're doing now, ask how much room you have in the organization or on the team and see how accommodating that can be. And if not, that might be an amazing team member. But in that instance, you may have to let the person go, because then the person is going to be a load that has to be carried along the growth journey. So a 360 view of a high performance culture is looking at performance not just in isolation, but with the full organizational life in mind. In conclusion, what I want to say is we are looking at you raising a team that knows and understands your values as an organization. We are looking at you as a leader, growing a continually learning organization. We are looking at you as a leader, continually developing your team to be able to revert that growth that you've invested in on the organization. We are looking at you as a leader, relating your conversation around your performance, not in isolation, but to what we exist to do, why we are here, and where we are headed. And if you're minded by all these in sequence, so they might look like, oh, I've never thought about my organizational vision, mission, and values in the sense of running or managing the performance of the teams, then we need to have a look at it. Because as an organization is an entity, and an entity has different parts, but they must all work together to give us the outcome that we're looking for. So yes, it is great that you have amazing vision and a great mission, and why your board members are even there and supportive. But as a leader, we need you to remember that they should not exist in isolation. They must work in tandem with how you are asking for accountability of your team members. Sam, the next.
Yeah. Okay. 1 second.
Great. So here, I want to leave you with this quote that embeds what the leader and the values of your organization can do for you. I want you to remember that as a leader, your values embody what you do, not just what you say. And everybody that you're demanding for accountability from is going to watch what you're doing. And in times of turbulence, especially now, where COVID keeps resurfacing in different forms. The last one I heard is now we are dealing with 3 in Ghana. So we have COVID resurfacing, we have monkeypox, and we have is that influenza also as well. And in the rainy season, and with the rains that are not expected in the patterns that they are coming, cholera to the boot. So if you're an organization and you're not thinking about how to embed your organizational performance and how to make sure that when the uncertain times come, you have a certain level of continuity based on the values you set yourself, then your team cannot deliver. You cannot have a high performance culture if you're not thinking about these in total. Thank you very much. Sam?
Hello everyone, my name is Elsie and I'm excited that I just completed a 15-week journey with the CTL Africa team on the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John C. Maxwell.
From the law of pain, I also learned that every problem introduces a person to himself. Honestly, till you face a problem, you wouldn't know the things that you actually have within you.
The journey for me personally was a wake-up call. Before I joined this journey, I wasn't actually learning at all. I wasn't adding any logic to what I knew.
So the law of trade-off is saying that you have to give up to grow up. So things that I think are not going to have maximum impact on my life, I have to trade them off.
I want to grow. I am not stopping now. I am continuing. And as far as I'm concerned, like it says, you cannot give what you don't have. I definitely will have to give what I have learned off to others and then get more so that I can continue giving. I am not going to be a reservoir. I am going to be a river, and therefore I'm going to continue learning to be able to give of my best.
Ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results on a consistent basis if they have a system, if they have a plan.
Good. Thank you, Maame. That was great. And I want to encourage all of you to share within the chat your takeaways. What are you taking away? What are you learning? I have a lot of them. I'm going to share a few of them before I continue to recognize those of you out there, and also share your questions. All right. So number one, I'm learning from Maame is that you should set your mission and visions, and they should be woven into the daily behaviors of the organization. So the starting point for a high performance culture is that you have clear vision and mission that are woven into the daily behaviors of the organization. I also pick that for a high performance culture to thrive, we must have consistent action. It's not just hitting once and no, it has to be consistent. She also talked about the sustainability of the culture through values. So we should support these goals with value, the quality of what we are doing. She also said that strategy without the right culture will not take us anywhere. She said, it doesn't mean don't have strategy. You should by all means have strategy, but you should also have the right culture to support your strategy. I also pick develop your people, have a learning and growth culture. Develop the people to have a learning and a growth culture. Very, very important. If the people are not growing, she says they may even leave you. You may be a good boss, but if the culture is not enhancing their growth, they will leave you. Then lead by example. You cannot ask people to do things that you yourself you don't do. Lead by example. People do what people see, not what they hear. All right. She talked about regular checking. Don't just set goals and wait for 1 year or mid-year to see and to punish people and say, well, you didn't meet your goal this end of year, therefore, no. There should be regular and continuous checking. Then performance culture must be holistic. It has to run through the whole life of the organization, right from your talent management to your reward systems and every aspect of the organization. Those are just a few that I took from there. So please go ahead, share with me also what you have learned this evening. Thank you so much, Maame, and God bless you. I see so many people have joined. Nalate is here. He says, good evening from East Legon. Willie Glaze says, joining from Accra. I have Enoch Esiama. Okay, joining from Kumasi. I have Kwame JB. He says, another great opportunity to learn from the experts. He's joining from the UK. Geishon Yao Dablo. He says he's joining from Bamako. Thank you so much in Mali. Kwesi Asare Amoakon is joining us from Italy. Thank you so much, Kwesi, for joining. Joshua Sintim is here. Dennis Abe is joining from Sakumono. He always enjoys the program. Thank you very much. I have Doggy Tony from Tema. Inusa Ajayi is joining from Cotonou, Benin. Thank you. Today we have a lot of international participants. Douglas Amwatin from Tema. I have Albert Donko, who is also joining us. He says, thank God I'm here to grow myself. Ebenezer Tufo is joining us from Abuja, Nigeria. Na Adolfo is watching. Shadrach says, great delivery. Thanks so much. Now, let me have your takeaways. Let me have your comments. I have Emma Akon is here. Emma, thank you for joining. All right. Josephine Odoe says, hi, everyone. I learned about consistency and how people watch a leader more than they listen to him. Great, Josephine. Thank you so much. Shadrach says, execution is the core. That's what he learned. So please go ahead, share with us what you are learning. More importantly, do you have any questions about what Maame has presented? All right, I'll bring up Sarah to see if Sarah has any comments and questions. Sarah, any questions for Maame? Comment for Maame?
Okay, Maame, thank you so much for a great delivery. I'm just wondering, okay, you have given us all these great food for thoughts. My question is, okay, I have learned this. What if I don't know how to go about it? What would you advise? I can take all this, but I'm not able to implement. how can I start? For example, the big deal that you said I should take away as one of mine. If I don't take anything away, how can I implement this?
Good. Great question, Sarah. Thank you so much. So, one of the things that we always encourage is getting a learning that is consistent. So, for instance, if we look at the foundational forms of that model, which is leadership and culture, you can always look for mentorship. And a lot of the times, and I'm going to be very radical here, a lot of the times we seek to grow, but we are not willing to invest in it. But if you ask any leader who has risen well and has a certain level of quality, they've invested in. And when I talk about investment, don't think about money immediately. I mean, people would walk to you, want mentorship, but they literally are unable to invest their time and the energy of really coming along. So look for a good person or somebody that you know is really leading well to say you would want mentorship. And some of these would come at a cost. Also go into some level of coaching. Sorry, we have coaches, and please take note. Yes, we have a lot of people calling themselves coaches. So you need to be minded who you are going to work with. What a coach does, which is different from what a mentor would provide for you, is a coach is going to consistently let you dig into yourself. Our belief is that you have what it takes to be the better version of yourself. So the questions, the engagement is going to let you dig deeper into yourself to be able to bring out the best. So that's another practical way. Get mentorship, get coaching to be able to do that. Now, if you're already running a team or an organization or a business, you need to invest in setting the right culture. And there are ways. I've shared here when we did the values-based culture that you cannot manage what you cannot measure. So in a lot of instances, people say that we are building a culture. We've started some culture work. So somebody sitting in HR or even the CEO will go online and find some tools, amazing things. We bring down the employees, do a couple of things. You'll invite an external person, do some team building exercises, and you feel that you've established a no. First, you don't even know what is running. Believe you me, whether you are working consciously about it or not, there is a culture. The way we do things around here exists so long as two people have met. Once there are one or two people, like the Bible says, that the Holy Spirit is there. Once there is a combination of two people, there's a culture. This is how we do things here. So you need to measure it. And there are scientific ways of measuring this where you understand, okay, this is what I've got. Now, this is where I want to get to. How do I bridge the gap? What comes in between is what a supportive leadership coach or somebody else can support you to do. So that's another thing. Now, when it comes to execution, that is why we are looking at how you are going to have this 360 view. Right from the word go, when you are recruiting, set yourself up to bring the right caliber of people. I have interviewed, and I always give this example. We needed a very specialized skill in one of the businesses that I worked. And we ran the interviews, found some okay candidates. I mean, one was about 68% good on technical competence. And somebody walks in, this guy walks in, he's got the airs. He walks in sluggishly, sits down. We start the interview. Oh, and my, did he know his stuff? He was technically superb. Exactly what we needed for the problem we had. But we didn't hire him because we understood at that time, and I insisted, because business leaders or functional leaders will be quick to say, oh no, I need him. And I said, no, this person is going to break your team. The way he conducts himself and in the way he was responding to the questions and the kinds of things and his behaviors and attitudes were clear to me that he was going to cause a disruption to the existing team. So if you're not minded by that from the beginning. You keep bringing in supposedly good employees and you are still struggling. So you can have a group of very exclusively amazing technical people who simply cannot work together. And by that, they can't even deliver a single result. So, Sarah, how you do this is you look to build a foundation, which is leadership. Look for some level of, I don't want to call it training, but some level of growth in that leadership space. Culture, measure what you have and put in plans to be able to build the desired culture and get into execution right from the recruitment stage. Bring in the right people, fit them into the level of culture you want, and not just because they are skilled, but be minded by the values that you want your organization to have.
Thank you so much. There are a few questions coming up, so I'll go to them. Sean Daniel says he has 2 questions. So just note them, and maybe we'll take 2 or 3, and then you'll answer them briefly. If you envisage a better performance culture in the organization you are working in, but you are not the CEO or you are not the HR, how do you enable it in your own small way?
Good.
All right. So where does the culture start from? Number 2, you mentioned that there are many performance management models. Please, if you are to recommend one of them, which one will you go for? So that's the second question.
Okay.
And I see Abedonko is asking, how does mastering time management correlate with my future state of performance as a leader? All right, so those are 3 questions. I want you to take them, then we will go on. I
Good.
have 1 question.
Sure. Thanks, Shane. I love your question. So the first question, to be very honest, Shane, I am here to bust your bubble, but the culture has to start from leadership. It's just as it is. So if you're in this organization where you can see the better way of doing things, but you're not in a place of making decisions, some of the things you can do is to make sure that you are delivering as an individual. You even have a better opportunity at giving it a shot if you have a team. In that small team, find a way of setting your values to correlate with high performance. If you are leading that team, motivate your team. I defined the leader in this context. You're motivating them, you're setting the clear vision, and you're telling them how you're getting there, supporting them with the right tools. So if you're leading a small team, you're not the head of HR, you're not the CEO, you don't call those shots. That is the purview that you have. You can't do much. You cannot on your own change the organizational culture from where you sit, unfortunately. You can contribute for everybody to see that as Sheng Daniel. As for Sheng, if you call him, he's punctual, he is obsessed with making sure things are done right, he is very ethical. Those can be said of you. But organizational culture starts from the top. Whenever I've gone in where we are doing work and the leadership hasn't given us our support, unfortunately, that has not been sustainable. So that's the first one. The second one is the performance management model that I would recommend. I love OKRs on a daily basis, and especially in the times we are in where check-ins are very essential because of the pace of business. So OKRs together with maybe business scorecard. But remember, some of the models are not fit for purpose for some organization. I mean, depending on whether your organization is highly technical or highly commercial or highly operational, a particular model will throw you off. And it will be this tedious process of measuring and writing and filling forms on end. And then it doesn't speak to anything. So I'd rather I knew the business that you are in so that I'll be able to make that recommendation. So but OKRs cut across whichever industries you have. you said that, but that is not a strict performance management system. It's only to get the conversation going year on year, day on day. Now, time management, that's a very high direct correlation, because if you are a leader or you are looking for the future performance of your organization and you're not managing your time properly now, you are either going to have a pile of undone things, B, by the time you open your eyes, the world has changed. If you're dealing with a very mobile market or audience, before you realize they've moved on. So you would have either lost on the market front or lost yourself in terms of what you could have done. Even for yourself as a leader, you're wasting time doing things that are not beneficiary to your growth. By the time you realize, you could have had a certificate in something more beneficial, but you've used your time on I don't want to use a blanket social media, because some of the social media things are productive. Unproductive social media activities, or just watching TV, or anything that you do that is not feeding into your goals as a leader. So there's a very high direct correlation. Also on the front of managing your team. If you're not managing your time well, either your team lags behind or your team actually overtakes you. So you could come to work and your team has sent you a lot of emails, and because you didn't manage your time well, you're now burdened with having to go back, and you lose the trust of your team because they're watching you and they are looking at your turnaround time and thinking, no, boss takes forever to revert. And that's not a good signal you want to send off. So I'll say very, very high direct correlation.
Thank you so much, Maame. My question is, what do you do when there is a team member who is not aligned with the culture, who is not performing in line with the culture set? And by the way, I agree with you. It said that the fish rot from the head. So in the same way, it can be seasoned from the head. The culture of the organization starts from the head. But wherever you are, if you're the head there, you have to set the culture there. But this guy doesn't want to align with the culture. What do we do with this person? Do we just throw him away?
So the hard line is just boot him out. Yeah, it feels good and easy, but no. I always say that I am very business oriented, but there's a reason our practice is called either people management or human management. So there's a reason. And people are not machines. We are not things. So you can't determine a straight up reason or solution for everything. My first point of call will be to ask, what are we dealing with? Have we engaged him? Is this guy dealing with some private matters? So that'll be on the emotive side or psychological side. We want to understand, does this person know how to do the work we are demanding of him or her? Does this person understand the culture that we are trying to set here? If we fill in all these blank spaces and we realize that this individual simply does not want, the word is want. It's not that the person cannot because of lack of skills or competence or anything or ability, then we have a conversation to have. And here, yes, I'm going to have an exit conversation with you. Either the person straps up their boots and come along, or we probably have to come to the place of agreeing that maybe this is not the time and place for this individual. And it happens. It does happen because I've seen teams where we had very, very amazing team members. They are everybody's friend, but they simply do not get any results. So my friend has a way of describing them. She will tell you that this is the kind of friend I'd love to have, not a colleague. It's simple. Like, I'd love to have you as a friend, but when it comes to work, no, I don't want you as a colleague. And these conversations are tough. They are difficult conversations, but you need to have them. And having these difficult conversations they don't have to be brute or rude or crude, like very cold, you are gone. No, you may have to do some engagement, understand where the people are coming from, give them a bit of time, provide the right environment, make sure that everything else we can do to support this person. I'd even go to the extent of providing a buddy, like just buddy this person, provide motivation and support wherever they are struggling. Do whatever you can. When you've come to the end of the line, if you don't drop that person, the message you're sending to the rest of the team or organization is that it's okay not to be. So they will all start not being performing, and then you would have a problem on your hands because you're
Thank you.
sending the wrong signals.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I have Mahongo Kabanda joining from Zambia. Mahongo, thank you so much for joining us. We know it's a bit late at your end there, but you're with us. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Albert Donko says, great to connect. All right. I don't know if Abigail has any questions or Sarah has additional comments. Let me see. Sarah, any comments more?
Yes. What I hear Maame saying is that this is a process. It's not something that you do only once and then it's done. It's a process, and therefore we should look towards the long haul. However, if I don't have the budget, I'm trying to be difficult today. If I don't have the budget, how do I go the long haul? I really want to do this, but I don't have the budget.
Great. Sarah, unfortunately, you need to find the budget. 1. 2, you could also find support in shared resources. I mean, there are organizations that provide these shared resources in terms of, okay, I can put a couple of you together and provide the support. For instance, if you came to me and you said, oh, Maame, I can't afford your day, but we are 4 entrepreneurs and want to come together for you to do so and so. I know some does a lot of that as well. They come together, we come. Yes, the service provider is making their earnings, maybe even at a lower rate, but you're also getting the same benefit you would have if you paid individually. So I will encourage them. We need to get into an ecosystem where we are able to think differently as leaders in these times. Get to know the people in your purview that would require the similar support. Get together and see what the needs are and put somebody in to support you. But you definitely need to do something. Yeah.
Wonderful. So group sort of support is also possible. And therefore, I just wanted our viewers to know that they shouldn't just stay alone. They should just approach Sam or any of us, and there is always a solution that can be found. Thank you so much, Maame.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much, Sarah. I wonder if Abigail has any questions. If you don't, Abigail, oh, you disappeared. All right. Okay, so, Maame, we are getting close to the end of the hour, and Chin Daniel says, honestly, and I think this really sums up for all of us, the speaker is great. Please bring her back. She's a superwoman. All right, so Maame, I didn't say it too. They say we should bring you back. So, but we thank you so much. Today, we have quite a number of people from different countries, and we know that there are so many people who connect but who don't introduce themselves. I believe Kofi will tell us the numbers, but it's been very, very good learning this evening. I've picked quite a lot of things. So I want you to give us, I don't see any more comments or questions. Abedonko says, great to connect. There's no more question. So give us your closing remarks, your final words, and then we would call it a day. Thank you.
Yes. So what I want to say is high performance culture comes at a cost to the leader. When I say costs, it means that we're looking for you to bring yourself to the process. And that journey, you must, as a leader, and that could be leader to yourself, leader to a small group, leader to a big team, leader to a commercial team, and that's in business, or a corporate team, or a whole business or organization. You need to consciously work at it. And sometimes there'll be low points. I mean, sometimes there'll be very low points where you feel the team has just disappointed you, but you need to keep at it. Because the moment you see the break and you think is the end, it will actually be the end. Build an organizational culture that encourages people to want to do these things instead of feeling that they need to do it out of compulsion. Build an organizational culture, and you can do it. You need to set your values right and make sure that that culture you are building and the leadership style that you are exhibiting and practicing are forming the foundation and the basis of the organization that you need. And you can do it. All of us put together are more than one person. So that's why we get here together. And I want to encourage you. The learnings and the nuggets that we get from here are amazing. Keep connecting, keep learning from my other colleagues and everybody else that CTL brings here. And the sky will be your launching pad. You can fly. You can fly.
Thank you so much, Maame. We appreciate you. And you didn't tell us what 565 is about and what you do. Just 1 minute, you can share a bit of that for us so that people who need your services can come to you, Maame.
Sure. So in the nutshell, 565 doesn't mean anything. It means 5 and 6 and 5. And sometimes there are no embedded meanings. So okay. 565, what we do are very straightforward. So we support organizations with culture. Either we are transforming your existing culture or we are setting one in place for you. We do leadership development. We do personal growth. And we do human capital or people management support. So anything HR is in our purview as well. So those are the things that we do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maame. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And for everybody who has connected this evening, we want to thank you so much, especially those of you connecting from parts of Africa that is late. Some of you, it's getting to 11 p.m. But we thank you and we hope that all of you have learned something. Have a very good night. And as we say all the time, the growth journey is on. We have opened 2 cohorts at the same time. Those of you who want to grow more deeply, have a personalized growth plan for your life and for your growth, for your leadership, please do not hesitate to contact us and join the growth journey, and we'll be happy to help you. On that note, thank you all. Have a very good night. Let's go to church tomorrow, and may God bless all of us. Bye-bye.
My name is Eliza.
My name is Elsie.
My name is Ebenezer Tufo.
This is Rosemary Robert Gaisey.
Over the past 14 weeks, I have been part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey, and it has been a blessing for me. I want to share my lessons with you.
Indeed, my attitude to life has never been the same. From the very first day I joined the virtual Personal Growth and Leadership Masterclass organized by Center for Transformational Leadership CTL Africa under the tutelage of Mr. Samuel Eyim.
First, the law of intentionality. Second, the law of design. And third, the law of the rubber band, the law of expansion.
The law of intentionality, the law of awareness. Then we have the law of the mirror.
Looking at how intense these laws are and how much impact they're supposed to make to our life.
My value obviously is not the same. The program indeed satisfies my quest for knowledge. So I encourage you to be part of this journey and also become an encouragement to others.
I will recommend CTL Africa to everyone who hears about us.
It has been a blessing to me, and I will encourage you to be part of CTL Africa's 15-week growth journey.
So we thank Mr. Yim, and we thank CTL, and thank you for listening to us.
God bless you as you make a move today.
I've been blessed and so you'll be blessed. Thank you.